We're going to run through 9 clips of James Toney versus Michael Nunn. Now, YouTube handled King Ochara had this request of breaking down round 3 of this fight, so I figured it had to be something special. And since it's James Toney, I can't help it, so I was totally in. And of course, he didn't disappoint. We're going to get nerdy into this film study. I plan on doing some rewinding and fast forwarding to hone in on some of his interesting patterns. And there were 2 things that blew my mind from James. Both were footwork patterns. One is in the very first clip. See if you could ID it. And the other one is in the last. And I will say the last one was my favorite. It actually made me think through how I think through patterns. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. Let's just get into it. We'll fast forward right here. Now James' shoulders are bladed. His head is between his lead foot and rear foot. Michael's going to jab. We're going to see James parry and pull. He's going to reset, move back to that same position, and we're going to see that again. Another parry and pull. And the point I'm trying to make here is the fact that James is using 2 tools, meaning he isn't just pulling to evade the jab, he's adding in a parry along with it. Now we're going to see Michael add a 3rd jab, and here's the change. James is going to stay in that pull position, which just means Michael's jab comes up short because there's nothing to hit. Then finally, we're going to get a 4th jab. We're going to see a new movement from James in his arsenal, which is a drop. Now, right here, all his weight's on his rear foot. He could decide to weave to that lead foot, but that'd be moving toward Michael's jab. So once again, he uses 2 tools. He's going to pop back up in that bladed position while stepping this rear foot back to evade this 5th jab. Then he's going to go back into this waist bend, and this time he decides to bring his head to his lead foot. And now with all his weight on his lead foot, he could step this rear foot forward. Then he's going to push off this rear foot, feint high with his lead, then go to the body. And let's rewind that and play that back. So for Toney, we have parry pull, same position, drop, rear foot step pull. Then we could add a drop, weave, walk, feint high, commit low. And let's fast forward to right here. All right, Michael will jab. We're going to see James look to pull. And note this time he didn't use or include a parry. Next, he's going to drop, and then he's going to weave to this lead foot. And an important thing to note, James doesn't continue swinging that rear foot around. He's going to go ahead and plant his foot right here. So if Michael should attack, he has somewhere to pull to. So here's what I would say about that. The longer time he's pivoting, the longer he's stuck on that lead foot. Now next, Michael's going to go ahead and jab. We're going to see James pull right here. And next, we're going to see another jab from Michael, and James is going to move in over that lead foot. And check out that rear hand cover. And then finally, we'll see a pull. Fun little sequence. And let's rewind that and see that again. So what do we have for Toney? That was pull, drop, weave. And then we have a pull, then in, then another pull. Then let's go ahead and zip through this portion to right about here. Okay, we're going to see Michael double jab, and James is going to parry with his lead. Then he's going to drop. Then Mike's going to triple it up, and James is going to pull square right here. Then he's going to drop back down again. Now, James is going to go in to this lead foot, and check out that rear hand cover. And I love this. He's going to go to the body, then head. And let's play that back one more time. So what did we see? We saw parry, drop, pull square, drop, in, body, head. All right, let's get this train moving again. So Michael will jab as James looks to parry and pull. Now right here, his weight's on his rear foot. He's going to move in to that lead foot, and note the rear hand cover. He's going to bob down over that lead foot, and then he's going to weave to his rear foot. Now, one thing to note, Mike is looking to catch him with his rear uppercut. So James is going to catch it, and then he's going to counter out with his rear cross. And this catch and counter style is one of James's hallmarks. Now, Mike's going to catch him with his lead as James looks to follow up with his lead hook. And let's watch that back. So we had the parry pull, then in, bob, weave, catch, counter, lead hook. Then we'll cruise to here. Now Michael's going to flash his lead, throw his rear cross, and we're going to see James catch it on his lead foot. Then we're going to see that same action again. Michael flashes his lead, throw his rear straight. But let's hone in on James. When Michael flashes that lead, we're going to see James pull. Then he's going to drop as that rear straight comes. And then out here, James is going to counter out with his rear cross, and that rear cross puts him on his lead foot. So we're going to see him bob down, and then he's going to weave to his rear foot. Now, here comes Michael and that rear straight again. We're going to see James bob down. Then he's going to counter out with a rear uppercut, lead hook, rear cross, lead uppercut. And then watch this. So James gets back to this lead foot, and he's going to counter out with a lead hook. So that was a lot. So let's rewind and see that again. So James catches, pulls, drops, counters, bobs, weaves, drops, counters, in, hooks out. Then we'll buzz through this section to right about here. All right, Michael's in a pendulum, snap off a jab. Now, this is pretty neat. James typically carries his lead hand low, but he still manages to swing it over and pin it to Michael. Next, he's going to drop because he's thinking a rear cross could come. Then he'll pop up, going in. Check out that rear hand cover. Now, Michael's looking for this rear hook to the body, and typically, this is a perfect catch that hook and then counter out with either a rear cross or a rear uppercut. But James gets stuck on this lead foot trying to pivot away from that lead hook, which means he doesn't have weight on this rear foot to throw that counter. And then being stuck on that lead foot for another beat, Michael will catch him with this lead. And let's play that back one more time. So we got parry, drop, in, get stuck on that lead foot, caught with the lead. Then we'll zip through this section. It'll take just a minute. And here we are. Okay, Michael's flashing his lead. He's going to go up top with his lead hook, then to the body. But let's hone in on James. He's going to get caught with that hook. Then he's going to drop, catch the one to the body, then look for his counters. First, a rear hook to the body, then lead. Then he's going to go up top to the head. Then he's going to look to post right here. And then the exact same pattern. Rear hook to the body, then lead, then head. And let's watch that back. And that was got caught, drops, catches, then counters, body, body, head, post, repeat. Then we'll go to here. So Michael's going to flash his lead through his rear cross, and we're going to see James react to the lead, but stay on the lead foot to catch that cross. Then he's going to pull from Michael's lead right here. Michael's going to double it up, and we're going to see James drop, and then he's going to counter with this rear cross to the body, and then he's looking for that lead hook to the body. Now, remember, that's the exact same pattern we saw earlier. He wanted to continue with the lead hook to the body, then head. And let's rewind that. We have catch, pull, drop, counter. Then let's get back on the train. Get moving again. All right, right here. Now we get to the last clip. This is pretty slick. James looked to either throw his rear cross or feint just to get to this lead foot. Check out that rear hand cover. Now he's going to bob down, weaving to his rear foot. And with his weight on his rear foot, it allows him to step this lead foot across. And we're going to see Michael throw his rear hook as James drops down towards his lead foot, which allows him to step this rear foot forward. And that right there just blows my mind. And check out the smile from James. And let's play that one more time. So we have in, bob, weave, lead foot step, drop towards the lead foot, then rear foot step. Just crazy. And we're going to buzz through the rest of this round. That's a wrap, everyone.